Welcome to the Next Step Masterclass Lesson 3. I'm Tim Jordan, co-founder of Service Catalyst, and thank you for being here with me today. And this lesson is a big one. It's core processes in delegation, because the truth is you cannot delegate chaos. You have to have organization before you can really put delegation in place. If your business feels like it falls apart unless you're in it every day, this is why. This is key and core to buying back your time, to creating a business that operates at a true level of excellence. Most service business try to hire help before they've documented how things are supposed to work, and this creates confusion, frustration, turnover. You can't expect people to succeed if you haven't defined what the process success looks like. Processes are how a business runs without you. And if you want real delegation, start by making your business make sense on paper or documented on the screen, if you will. So, what is a core process? A core process is a repeatable workflow that supports one of the main functions of your business. If you recall, in lesson 2, we went through the high level categories. So that's lead handling and follow up, sales and quoting, job scheduling and delivery, installation, execution of the job, customer communication, follow-up, which typically includes review requests, and then billing and administrative or financial. Just to reiterate, these do not need to be fancy. They need to be clear, consistent, and followed. So documenting your SOPs and making that easy, right? Because I know me, especially early on in my career, when somebody started talking about documenting standard operating procedures, just saying that's such a mouthful and just mostly like gave me anxiety. But it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a software suite to get started. You just need a Google Drive or a Dropbox or something like that. Each SOP should just answer the questions: what is the task? How is it done, either step by step or a checklist, and then who's responsible for it? Yeah, a good example is a process sending out an estimate. So you would use your CRM, you would select a template, you would customize that template, and you would send it out and have some timeline, maybe within an hour of it being requested. And then the owner would be your office administrator. Again, just an example, but that's kind of the workflow that we're talking about. I highly recommend using video walkthroughs, screen records. Definitely want even screenshots if it's something that's done on a computer, to go along with the step-by-step or the checklist. We use both in our processes for SG. If it's videoable, we'll video it. And then also, here's the checklist and or step-by-step process written out. For the videos, I use Loom. They have a free account up to 25 videos. It also forces you to keep the video short because the max is 5 minutes on the free account. So Loom, Loom, is a great resource for writing SOPs. We've also provided a template in this lesson. It's for a lead handling and follow-up procedure. It's generic to that, but it's a great starting place. And once you have yours built for your lead handling and follow-up, you can just duplicate the document and you have your structure in place for whatever the next core process is that you need to document. So utilize that template. It doesn't have to work for you. Update it for your business, your expectations, your workflow, and then move on to the next process and use it as a continued template. So after you've documented these core processes, it's really, really important that you distribute and then reinforce them. So processes only works if your team can find it, understand it, and follow it. So that means you need to save all SOPs in an organized folder that's available to the team. You need to also walk your team through the key processes, the key SOPs during training. And you need to link them in job descriptions, onboarding docs, and internal checklists. So then I recommend, especially the key core processes, you need to revisit them. If somebody was recently trained on them, maybe 1 week, 1 month, 3 months after. And then the crucial core processes need to be revisited periodically in weekly or monthly meetings. Is it still the best? Is this process still the best way to execute this? Is everyone doing it this way? The last part, though, so now I've created the process, I've distributed it, I've made it available, I've trained on it, I followed up on it a couple of times. The last and maybe truly the hardest part of this is that you have to trust your team to execute. You have to take hands off the wheel and let them do the process you have created. Let them make mistakes, but then support them and correct them when those mistakes do happen. So this piece takes intentionality and a true owner's mindset. So I highly recommend, as you're doing this, installing a scorecard for your business. That really gives me, having a place I can go to quickly and regularly see the health and the trajectory of my business helps me delegate and helps me take my hands off of the wheel. So what a scorecard is, it comes from the book, that terminology specifically at least comes from the book Traction, EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. Fantastic book. A few of the things that we do at Service Catalyst are rooted in that. But what a scorecard is it's 3 to 5 key metrics that you can watch on a weekly or sometimes even daily basis. Mine at SG Window Tint, on the automotive side at least, are the number of leads that we've received, the number of installations that we've scheduled, our total sales or revenue amount, our average sale, and a review count. Once you delegate, having a scorecard is the best way for you to stay in tune with the health of your business so that you can have your hands off the wheel. Monitoring it regularly will help identify issues in processes or performance quickly. So once I read Traction a couple of times and implemented a lot of their strategies at SG Window Tint, this one specifically changed my life. That's why I really highlight it here, and it's key to effectively delegating. Once you have that in place and have some reps at doing that regularly, the next step is to break your scorecard down into KPIs for individual team members that they can track and you can track. They have their own scorecards of sorts. It helps them understand how they're doing, what the business wants done, those kinds of things. So I highly recommend installing a scorecard and then eventually breaking it down to KPIs for individual team members. So, what are some pitfalls or some common mistakes in documenting processes and delegating? The first one is the big one, is waiting too long to document your process. Do it today, especially with the templates we're providing. It'll be quick and easy. Do it now. Another thing is vague delegation. So telling people what to do without really giving them a process. There's other concerns are not having things documented, or maybe handling tasks without clear expectations or instructions. Your processes have to be super, super clear. This is exactly how we do it. This is exactly what I'm expecting for you. So a lot of these pitfalls are really around clarity. You also, if you're delegating, you don't want to have a mindset of letting people just figure it out. That's not it. You need to have structure in place. And then finally, you do need to follow up. After you've created them, distributed them, trained on them, you have to follow up on them. But at the end of the day, start simple, one SOP at a time. The big takeaways from this lesson are to pick one core process and document it this week. Use our template, use our worksheet. Make sure you have a document sharing system in place Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever it is that you guys use, and then map out a scorecard. What are the 3 to 5 key performance indicators for your business, and how can I quickly and easily track them and review them on a daily or weekly basis? Inside the Catalyst community, we talk about this all the time. We even have weekly accountability meetings that are scorecard check-ins. So, and inside the Next Step Accelerator, you get peer coaching and feedback as to how to actually functionally and tactically do this within your business. And we put it into practice with real accountability in a small group setting. If you're ready to stop being the bottleneck and to start building a team that runs without you, check out Service Catalyst. On our next lesson, lesson 4, we are going to talk about tech stack and automations. Thanks, and see you guys there.